Right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today I am going to be reviewing and building the Gundam Age 2 Magnum from Gundam Build Divers. It is Kyoya Kujo's primary mobile suit. He dresses it up and hides it partway through the series, but this is his main one. It is based off the Age mobile suit, so it should have quite an interesting design and build to it. It does make this transformation happen. This particular sequence here, aside from the fact that there's two of the same mobile suit on the field, is from like the series finale, which is pretty cool. You've got the build divers in the background here. You've got the main bad guy bot over there. And it's a really fun series, so I'm really looking forward to building this one and getting it all put together and up on the shelf. I do like the Age style units. They have really cool lines and shapes and silhouettes to them, but also I like building master grades. So it's a bit of a win-win for me. I get an Age unit and I get a master grade. So this one here is pretty simple as far as I'm aware, but let's take a look at what comes in the box. Alright, so I've got to admit, I was getting pretty excited because I didn't think there would be any of these. So I got down to the last packet. I was opening them all individually to kind of do a bit of a show on how many runners are in it, and I was just like, yes, there's been no polycaps. Yes, it's going to be one of those kits. Unfortunately, this polycaps. There's a great big old runner of polycaps, and that's a bit disappointing because the last couple of kits I built have had no polycaps, and that's been amazing. But that's fine. That's fine. So going through it, there's quite a large number of runners actually. So it's not going to be quite as simple as I had originally anticipated. Oops, those things fell over. So there's what, 4 there. Then let's jump through this. I probably could have done that a little bit tidier, but there you go, 23 runners. There is just a standard sticker sheet for all the decals, so probably going to end up needing to use some of these. They look like there's a little bit of color correction in amongst like probably mainly for things like hair and stuff like that for the transformation, the parts formation, because it is not a proper transformation. You do need to create extra parts and swap parts in and out. Now the one thing when I was pulling all this out that I found interesting is you've got 2 little foil sheets, which obviously the eyes and cameras. Then I think this is going to be the chest unit, and possibly the cockpit for the core unit. So it's a bit of a different unit. I did say it's going to be a bit simpler, but that is probably in comparison to something like the St. Andrew, which I was looking at getting instead of this one today. But I went with this one instead because I've already got the St. Andrew Stone. I didn't need the St. Andrew red version, or I guess I do, but I'll get that for Christmas. I'll buy that as a Christmas present. But anyway, I know you don't want to hear me rambling on too much at the start of this, so let's just jump right into it. This is the Master Grade Gundam Age 2 Magnum from Gundam Build Divers, which is, as I said at the start of the video, a pretty cool little show. So this guy here, he is pretty cool. I have a few complaints about him. He's not the most stable of units, but also he is somewhat flimsy. So most parts, like these parts here, they sit on pretty well, but the arms fall out constantly. So if you do get this one, you will want to do some extra work on the arms to make sure they actually stay in place. But if you do too much, then they won't be able to rotate and it'll limit its mobility. So it's a bit of a toss-up between turning it into a statue and actually being able to play with it. But yeah, there's so many things going on around this shoulder, well, both these shoulders, that it just makes it really hard. And also the size of this weapon means it doesn't stay up. So kind of stuck for what you want to do with it. It is a pretty cool weapon, I will admit that, but yeah, it does have a few flaws, to say the least. But overall, he's quite a cool looking kit. A whole heap of real sharp lines and jagged edges and stuff, which I think is quite a lot of fun. Yes, I am holding my phone camera, my phone torch, to get a bit of better light on him. I've just snapped them together. Most people will probably, if they're paying attention during the time lapse, they'll notice I very rarely sanded or filed any parts down, and I do only use just a one snip method to cut things off. So I kind of just chuck them together because I want to get them up on the shelf. But because there's so much dark plastic on it, it does end up showing quite badly if you are too fast. So I do need to take it all apart, slow down, and sand some of the parts down and get it a little bit cleaner. I think I may end up doing a bit of a color change. I'm not a big fan of these weird color variants. If it was just blue, yellow, and white, I'd probably quite enjoy it, but this random orange in the middle is a bit strange. Yeah, so it's overall a pretty cool unit, but it's definitely not the best Master Grade, and it's definitely not the best age unit I've built. The age 1 and age 2 have been way more fun, like the normal ones, but they're all high grade variants, so I have much preferred them over this particular build. It took a lot longer than I expected as well. The funnels, the weapon, and the shield all up probably took me an extra hour and a bit, on top of the unit itself, which was a nearly 3-hour build. So that's a lot longer than what I was expecting it to be, but I guess I was spoilt by the Zaku Warrior. But anyway, I do quite like it, but the flimsiness of the arms, some of the weird joints and stuff going on in the knees, I'm not going to touch it for fear of moving it out of even this basic pose that it's in now. All of that brings it, and it's probably just a 6 out of 10. I'd recommend getting it if you want to like flesh out your collection of build divers, because there's very few Master Grade build divers. So I do recommend it in that particular case. It does have some really cool weapons in these funnels. This here is quite cool as well. Like once you take the front off it, it almost looks a bit like it's like it could be a core unit or something like that, which is quite cool. Yeah, overall it is a fairly cool unit, but I wouldn't espouse its virtues like I do the Gundam Zaku Warrior or even the Dynamis to a certain degree as well. So not the best kit I've built this year, not the worst kit either though, which is a compliment in and of itself. But I don't think it's worth the $110 I paid for it. So yeah, take that as you will. But still, cool kit, 6 out of 10. It's not a total flop. And like I said, not the worst kit I've ever built. I'll have to look into figuring out which one that is. I haven't tried the transformation yet. It does have a transformation mode. And again, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to putting this up on the shelf, getting it into a cool action pose, and properly gluing it all together so it never moves again. So yeah, I'll put it up on an action stand, get it up on the shelf, get it looking cool. And yeah, next up is going to be a Sinanju. Now I've got the Sinanju original version from Unicorn, so that's the red one. I'm looking forward to building that. I'm not a big fan of the glossy red, so I hope that it isn't too glossy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to building that. I loved the Sinanju Stein build, and I do really wish that I'd taken a bit more time to really sit down and enjoy it on a day off or something like that. So in a couple of days' time, when I have another day off, I'm going to sit down and put together the new Sinanju. So yeah, look forward to that video, and I will see you in the next one.